So, Hannah, there may come a day where you find yourself needing to buy a ceiling fan. And when you do, you need to remember something. So maybe write this down, but you need to get one that is labeled easy install
Okay.
or pre-assembled body, like one of those two criteria. Because like my house gets hot and my AC unit died, and I refuse to pay like $7,000 on a new AC unit by itself. So I'm waiting for there's like a class action lawsuit right now with against the companies that like built all these units. And so I'm kind of waiting for that to continue and like maybe it'll drop the price on units and then I'll get one. But anyway, in the meantime, I wanted to get a ceiling fan for my living room that is kind of mid-century modern and something that kind of like fits my collection of things in my house. Um, it's cute and I picked one out. It's like the right size for my living room and it has an LED light and it's kind of gold and brassy with like these wooden like blades. It's remote controlled and honestly, it moves air. And that is what I bought it for, to sit
Period.
in the air. But now I should also say that this is not my first ceiling fan purchase. Not it is for this home, but not for in general. And I should end by saying that in the past, I haven't known that I must have happened to buy an easy install fan because this thing has like 42 pieces. It came to me in like a box, and I was like, that's a small box. I actually thought it was going to be a bigger box. And
Yeah.
come to find out that like IKEA furniture is easier to build than they're asking of me. There are like eight full size, 8.5 by 11 sheets of instructions, just like full, complete, lots of instructions, including wiring the controller to like the motor housing, which I'm sorry, you can't do that already. Like, this thing comes with like couplers on top of couplers. There's like it's way more than just like connecting the blades to the motor and then putting it up, like actually mounting it, wiring it. You have to like practically build the thing. And so the box has been sitting on my kitchen table for like a week because I've been getting overwhelmed just looking at it. And also, I know that this is going to be like the most privileged thing that I hope that anyone will ever hear me say. But if I'm having to assemble these parts, I should receive an hourly wage. Like,
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I'm cheap, but like, I feel like it costs more to have it shipped the way that it's all separated with this like custom foam to help hold all the pieces and all these styrofoam sections and like plastic pieces that you have to remove before assembling. It probably would have just been cheaper to like assemble the stupid thing and then put it in a box with bubble wrap and send it because it's ridiculous. And I am annoyed that I paid a good chunk of ceiling fans are not cheap. And like I paid a good chunk of money and now I have to put it together myself. It was like a jigsaw puzzle. I did not order a jigsaw puzzle. I ordered a ceiling fan.
This is teaching me so much because I didn't even know you had to build ceiling fans. Like when
I
I've been
didn't know you had to build them either. I thought you had to like put them together and then like put it up. And this one is like legit. You are doing way more wiring than just like like typically you want to have if you already have an existing light or something else that you're taking out, which I have a light. I'm taking you can almost see it. I am taking this light out and I'm going to be wiring up the ceiling fan with a light. Okay, that that wiring I am expecting to do. I am not expecting to like get a the thing that connects to the remote to make the remote work connected to all of the other wire. Like I have to do that wiring as well and then wire it like it's I can't even explain how many pieces this thing is. Like I am not exaggerating by saying 42 pieces. Like it is so it is so many pieces. And
that's
I want to say that I
crazy.
would love to tackle this in the next week, but I think I'm still overwhelmed and mad about it. And this is part of my
Yeah.
process. Also, I guess this might be ADHD, but like I look at this thing and I'm like, this is impossible. So one day, when you encounter an issue like this, you're gonna call and you're gonna ask for my help with your house project. Maybe ask for whatever thing, and I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna also ask you to like use yeah, for to have you teach me about whatever newfangled technology is out at the time that I can no longer figure out because I'm old. And because that's what happens when you get old. I'm sorry if anybody's hearing this and feeling upset, but we know this. Hannah and I know this from personal experience. The number of times my mom has called when we're on the phone and we're trying to record the pod to try to get me to get her on Disney Plus. So, out you on that. But like people who knew how to use technology all of a sudden can't figure something out and then they're immediately like on you. So that's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to help you figure out ceiling fans or whatever it is in your house that you need. And you are going to help me figure out the teensy tiny cell phones that we have by then. I have no idea. I don't know what we're gonna have by then. Cell phones were getting really small and now they're getting bigger, so I don't really know.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what technology is gonna bring. Maybe it'll be my car because I can't figure out all the buttons on that thing. So,
that's fair. No, now they have like the flip cell phones too. Those are like,
you mean now? You mean you're saying now? Now, like just now that they have them?
they're coming back. They're coming back.
I'm
It's like
like
a smartphone that flips. It's kind of
flip
cool.
cell phone. Oh, well, you are listening to Millennial Meets Gen Z 90's edition. The podcast where one of us grew up with the 90's, with the music, the movies, the pop culture, and the other is discovering it all for the first time. I'm Allison, the millennial.
I'm Hannah, the Gen Z.
And each week we rewind a different piece of 90's culture to see what still holds up, what definitely doesn't, and the stories that still stick with us today. Try not to influence Hannah along the way into becoming a 90's baddie. But whether you lived through it or you're just discovering it now, let's rewind. So, Hannah, do you want to introduce our movie this week?
So, Rookie of the Year is a 1993 movie that is about, guess in my own terms, a 12-year-old little baseball player who breaks his arm while actively trying to impress a girl, which was like the funniest thing to me. And then he has this amazing arm that he could throw like over 100 miles an hour and basically becomes a famous pitcher.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to say the
That was
least.
my dream, Hannah. To like, if I ever broke a bone, for it to like fuse so that I could do something really cool.
With the tendons fusing.
Yeah. That was what we thought was real. We thought, like, I have spent my whole life growing up, and literally anytime I've broken anything, I'm like, how likely is it that I will now develop a superpower like in Rookie of the Year?
That's
So,
so funny. If I had watched this when I was younger, I probably would have thought the same thing. But I definitely did not want to be a baseball player, so if that happened, it would not benefit me.
well, I would be a baseball player if I had that skill. Like,
Yeah.
if it comes easy, why not?
Yeah.
So, as you can tell, we watch Rookie of the Year, the 1993 classic. The official synopsis is a clumsy 12-year-old, like you kind of mentioned, little leaguer Henry Rowengartner breaks his arm and heals with tightened tendons, giving him a superhuman 100-mile-per-hour fastball. It's pretty spot on, Hannah, for your description. He is subsequently discovered by the struggling Chicago Cubs, signed as their star pitcher, and ultimately leads them to the playoffs. Now you can watch this movie on Disney Plus, so pause this if you haven't seen it yet. Go watch it, come back, or you can just listen along and I will narrate it for you. But honestly, the movie's better than my narration. This movie was written by Sam Harper, who is known for writing Cheaper by the Dozen in its sequel. He was also known for writing Open Season. Did you ever see Open Season? Like
No,
the
I
animated
didn't, but I've
cartoon?
thought
Okay.
cheaper by the dozen.
Okay. Open Season is a cartoon. You like cartoons.
Yeah.
And this is a slept on movie. Super funny. Definitely like it. Recommend. Did you ever see Rio?
Yes.
Okay, he wrote Rio. So there you go. And he wrote Just Married as well with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, but
So,
I love Rio.
okay, well, then you should love this movie because it's written by the same person. We'll move into that. This is directed by Daniel Stern, which is a huge shock to me. I had no clue that he directed this movie and acted in this movie. We'll talk about who Daniel Stern is in just a second. But Daniel Stern, as a director, did 10 episodes of The Wonder Years, a couple episodes of Complete Savages, The Paul Reiser Show, and Manhattan. This was the only movie he directed in his career, but he is most known for his acting career, including in this movie where he plays Brickma. So the crazy guy. And we will dive into his acting credits later. So without giving it away, the movie away, what did you think of this movie? Because I'm getting a vibe off of you. And also you have to answer my question, what is hot ice?
Well, I'll start with hot ice before I get into the dirty deets. You gotta heat up your ice to make it better for your injuries, that alone made me dislike the movie.
That's not good. Come on. It's hot ice, Hannah. It's hot ice.
What?
I got the quote in here, but some people like heat, and some people find that cold is better. But he put them together, Hannah. Hot ice.
What? So stupid.
Which I think is just water.
It's just water.
But yeah.
That was so funny. And whenever I think of hot ice, I literally think of like.
Why would you? Okay, I'll get to it. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, guys, don't hate on me for any Rookie of the Year fans. I didn't really like this movie. This was the first movie I disliked.
Oh my God. But it's hot ice, Hannah. It's funny. You're supposed to laugh.
I mean, it was funny. I think it was the plot point. Like, as we know, I loved Sandlot. Like, I loved Sandlot and the Beast and that whole thing. And I really, going into this, I thought I would like this more because, like, my dad loves this movie. He talks about this movie constantly. It's a baseball movie, similar vibes to Sandlot. Henry kind of irked me a little bit. I didn't like that there was this 12-year-old on the Chicago Cubs, and I did not like the noise of when he'd go and like
The
throw the
rubber
ball.
band noise.
I did not like it. Like, I needed that to immediately shut up. That like icked me out.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay, so if he did ASMR instead, if they had like nails, if he was like every time he was throwing a baseball, it was like this. Would your generation appreciate that better? Because I prefer the rubber band sound to ASMR.
I think I would prefer that. Yeah, you're not a big ASMR person, are you?
Hate it. Can't. It gives me the heebie-jeebs. Can't do it. I don't know if I'm the only one in the world, but yeah, can't do it.
I love it. I like squishy cracking videos. See, they should have done that for his noise.
No, I like the rubber band. The rubber band sounds better. It's just a rubber band. It's like creaking of the rubber. Okay, whatever. So is that the extent of like you just didn't connect with maybe a character and then
I think honestly, well, it was just the plot. I just didn't like the plot. I thought it was kind of hokey.
We're gonna encounter movies that you don't like. I'm a little nervous if you didn't like this one, you might not like the next one, but we got a long way to go. We got a lot of different things coming up, so you'll like a bunch. I'm sure there's some you won't like though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of impressed that this was the first one I didn't like up to this point.
Yeah.
And when I tell my dad, I haven't even gotten a chance to tell him, he might disown me. I might get disowned. So
well, let's talk through this movie because I think like there are some things that you may appreciate better after hearing some explanation, but also the thing I think also for like as an adult watching this movie, it's different than when you grow up with it as a kid. And like when you watch some of these movies that we watched as kids, like you need to put your 12-year-old Hannah in that mindset because would 12-year-old Hannah think this was funny? And I'm guessing some of it, yeah.
Probably.
But I mean, come on.
Yeah. It was like silly and I'll tell my rating later. But like my rating's not like a 2. Like I'm not giving this movie like a 1 or a 2. But it just wasn't my favorite. I did like Rocket.
Okay. Rocket. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
relationship with Henry and his mom, did you like okay.
Yeah,
See,
he
that's
was
the
my favorite
pull of the
character.
heartstrings that you're supposed to. But it
Yeah.
is a lot lighter as an adult. It feels a lot lighter than as a kid. It felt like really heavy. So,
Yeah. I did not like her OG man.
well,
He like
yeah,
took a man
you're
in.
not supposed to.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, let's rewind. So we open on the Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs, as they're getting ready for a game. People are starting to arrive for opening day, Cubs versus Giants. Up in the press box, we hear the announcer, Cliff Murdoch. His computer system sparks and is on the fritz, and Ernie says he thinks it's going to be a good season for the Cubs. But Murdoch says they haven't won a pennant since 45 and a series since 1908.
Have we seen the announcer before?
We have, and I was just about to tell you that. So Cliff is played by John Candy, who's uncredited, but not John Candy was a legend. He was known for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Uncle Buck with Macaulay Culkin, Spaceballs, The Great Outdoors. He was also in Blues Brothers, Stripes with Bill Murray, Brewster's Millions, Follow That Bird, that terrifying Sesame Street movie I've told you about that keeps me up at night, Little Shop of Horrors, Home Alone, and we last saw him in Cool Runnings as Irv, their coach.
Oh my God, wait, that makes so much sense. See, I actually recognize someone. I recognize two people. Well,
I feel good about that.
yes. Yeah, no, I recognized two people, well, maybe three, but I didn't even like I didn't look into it. I just recognized them, but I don't know if one of them is in the movie that I'm thinking of. I just they looked alike. Like the actors
Okay.
looked alike.
We'll go through it. All
Okay.
right, so the pitcher throws in the Cubs, go to catch the ball, and that's when it switches over to Henry Rowengartner jumping up and pretending to grab the ball. He and his friends are running and pushing something in a baby carriage. A guy says, "Good luck today, Henry," and Henry is wearing a uniform for his team, the Pirates. They run into his mom, who asks where he's going, and he says he has a game and may actually get to play today because one of his teammates has Hebrew school. His mom greets his friends, George and Clark, and as an adult, I watched her go, Clark, in a weird way. And I was like, why is everybody talking to Clark that way? It was weird. Anyway, so he says if he doesn't, or she says if he doesn't get to play, she's gonna let him do the laundry when he gets home. They run off, and she says, wait, sunblock, and then she sends it floating towards him, and it goes over his head and into the road. They're not optimistic about his playing today after that. So the kid that was put in has bad allergies, so Henry is put into right field, and Henry is not even wearing the right pants. This was bothering me the entire freaking time. Anytime he played Little League, he wore jeans, and everyone else wore baseball pants.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
maybe
don't
he
know.
doesn't even have baseball pants because he was never expected to leave the bench, is maybe my
Yeah.
question. I have no idea.
He was not good. He was not great. He was not great.
No. So a ball is hit right to him, and we think he might get it, and he doesn't. His hat falls down over his eyes, and not only does he not pick it up, he ends up, when he does pick it up, he throws it out of the park, so in the wrong direction. Now, Henry is played by Thomas Ian Nicholas. Thomas was known for his role in The Rules of Attraction, Please Give, Red Band Society, and Adverse. He's also known from things like Radio Flyer, great movie, A Kid in King Arthur's Court, a Kid in Aladdin's Palace, which both preceded. It's like the sequel, but they both preceded this movie. American Pie, which we'll be watching next month, and its sequels, Stealing Sinatra and Walt Before Mickey. So he is continued acting his whole life.
Oh my God. Wait, I'm writing that down. I'm excited to watch American Pie. Heard that one's good.
We'll have a special guest for that one too, or we're supposed to anyway. At home, his mom asked him how he did, and he says he made the play of the day, and she says maybe he's not cut out to be a right fielder. Maybe he's supposed to be a pitcher like his father was, and he doesn't believe that, so she sends him to do the laundry. In the basement, he pretends to play for the Cubs, and he tries throwing the laundry soap in the washer, and he actually makes it. So it was kind of surprising.
Yeah, I was proud of him for that. That was sweet.
Now, his mom, Mary Rowengartner, is played by Amy Morton, who's known for her role in Up in the Air, 8 mm, and The Dilemma. She was also in Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, and Chicago Med. Apparently, she never wanted to leave Chicago. And a few episodes of Bloods and the new movie It Ends With Us.
Oh my God, she's in It Ends With Us.
I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it. It's in my queue. I've been following all the drama, but I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah.
His mom is going out for their 3-week anniversary with Hannah's favorite character, Jack. Henry does not like Jack. At school the next day, Henry is staring at a girl named Becky. George tells him to go talk to her, but Henry asks, what about? Clark says, you can talk to her about the boat. Her dad has a boat and they have a boat. And George corrects him and says they have wood in the vague shape of a boat.
I like
He
that part. I
dismisses
thought that
it.
was funny.
He dismisses it and says she's not that hot. And George says she's stacked. And
Like,
then they watch her
wow.
drink milk, and he says, milk's done that body good.
At 12. 12 or 13, I'd presume.
12. And yes, that's
I
about
mean,
accurate.
I don't know if the other people, what grade are they in? Did they ever say that?
So 12 years old, you would be what? Like fifth, sixth, probably sixth grade?
Okay, yeah. Never mind.
Like
That's
12 going on 13?
okay,
Thir
yeah.
13 going on 14 is like seventh grade. I think 14 going on 15 is eighth grade, something like that. Sixth or seventh grade.
Oh, yeah.
Middle school. They're in middle school. They should be.
Sounds good.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't write the movie. Let's ask.
I just did
Uh,
not like them sexualizing her. I was like, you guys are 12 years old.
but
Why?
that's the whole thing that happens at that age. Everybody's going through puberty. Okay.
True.
So
Like high
Clark is
school.
played by Robert High Gorman, who is known for Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Leprechaun, Forever Young, and Leatherheads. He was in Accidental Tourist, Falcon Crest, and did a few episodes of Empty Nest. He was in Mr. Nanny and some episodes of The Home Court and was on one episode of Boy Meets World. So that's Clark. George is played by Patrick LeBrec, who is in the movie Heavyweights. We'll be watching that one. Beethoven. That's on our list. The Lawnmower Man 2. Don't know what that is. And he's also in All I Want for Christmas and Camp Nowhere. At the end of the day, they're walking, and George waves to Becky and their friend Tiffany. Now, Becky is played by Colum Jacobson Durstein, who's known for her role in D2 and D3, The Mighty Ducks, and Men in Black 2 and Chef. So she continued acting. The pitcher of the Pirates shouts to Rowengartner, good game yesterday, and then he tells him to catch and he hits him the ball. To impress Becky, Henry goes after it, but he doesn't see the other baseball on the ground and steps on it, flying up in the air, only to land on his shoulder.
That looked so painful.
I
That looked
mean,
so
for
painful.
slapping on a baseball, he flew pretty high.
It was crazy. I mean, that's part of why I didn't like it too, because I feel like that's pretty unrealistic, and I feel like the whole way in which this happened was just like so stupid. But that it was a little funny. Like,
It can happen, Hannah. It can happen to me at any point, and I'm going to pitch for the Chicago Cubs.
oh my god, I would go to all of your games and support you, girl.
I know, but at 40, they would be like, this isn't really, you're aged out.
Be like,
Be like, no,
okay.
I'm still 12, guys. Shut up. At the hospital, Henry is completely in a cast around his torso and a post holding his arm up and a cast around his arm and shoulder. So his arm is up in a bent arm position. And the doctor says he has to be in the cast for 4 months. The doctor says he wants him to have his bones set correctly and to take it easy. And everyone makes fun of him when his hand is up in this wave position. Hi, Henry. They go to get his cast off finally, and the doctor says the bone is fine, but the tendons have fused with the humerus. And he has him raise his arm and put it in a position, and it stretches like an elastic band and smacks the doctor in the face. And the doctor says, funky butt loving, which is funny, especially as a kid. And Dr. Kirsten is played by Ross Lerman. This was the only movie he acted in. He did an episode of Proven Innocent several years later, but that was it. He mostly worked on Broadway, and he teaches acting. Well, the doctor tells him to go because he's pretty much broken his nose. And on his way out, he hands his mom hands him Cubs tickets for him and his friends, and she says Happy Cast Off Day.
So
So
sweet.
at the field, they get there early. They're excited about Stedman on the mound, and they tell the Rocket to throw the heat. The ball lands in the stands, and everyone is shouting for the guy to throw back because you can't keep a ball that was hit by the other team. The guy doesn't even get it over the fence when he throws it back. In the announcer box, Ernie says, "Poor Mr. Carson." And he continues to say he must be really depressed as his last year as team owner. And they have like 300 people in the stands, and that's it. Up in the box, he's excited about, Mr. Carson's excited about the Dakota ring in his Cracker Jack box. Inside the box, not the Cracker Jack box, the box that they're sitting in. His nephew says, "Okay, Uncle Bob," and he calls him a Cracker Jack. A guy who works there is saying that if they don't sell out the rest of the season, they're going to have to forfeit the franchise, which Larry Fisher is upset about because he is supposed to be taking over in the next season, inheriting it from his Uncle Bob. Now back in the stands, Harry yells to Stedman to throw him the cheese. Throw the hot, stinky Limburger. Now Stedman is confused, as anyone would be who's being told to throw Limburger. He pitches it and hits it and it gets hit into the stands. George gets the ball. George doesn't want to throw back and have people see him, so he hands it to Clark, but Clark doesn't want to get razzed either, so they have Henry throw it. He does like a slingshot as he throws it all the way to home plate, and everyone is shocked. Now, before we continue, Chet Stedman is played by Gary Busey. He's known for his role on Lethal Weapon, The Buddy Holly Story, Point Break, and Under Siege. The dude has like 186 acting credits and is still going. And so here are a few I thought were important. He was in Eye of the Tiger, Bulletproof, Predator 2, The Player, The Firm, Black Sheep, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Dr. Dolittle 3, Lizzie, and so many more things.
He's a good actor. He's a good actor.
Yes, I think so too. Murdoch announces somebody just threw a frozen rope from the bleachers to home plate. That's got to be 435 feet. And Fish demands his worker Durkin to bring me that arm. Now, Larry Fisher, is played by Dan Hedaya. Now, Dan is known for his role in The Usual Suspects, Commando, Mulholland Drive, and you may know him from his role as the dad in Clueless first.
Yes, I did recognize him from that.
Or our first watch.
First Wives Club! I recognize two people.
Yay. He was also in Joe versus the Volcano opposite Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. And The Addams Family. He was in Benny and June, Nixon, In and Out, A Night at the Roxbury, Swim Fan, Robots. He did an episode of Monk, and he was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Can I ask you a question really quick about the cast?
Sure. If I know.
Clark's, well, I know you do like research on the movies they're in. Clark's character looked so much like the brother from She's All That, and I didn't want to search it up because I wanted to get like a live reaction, and I
don't think that's the same kid.
Okay, they looked so alike, at least to me. I was like, he looks like him, just younger, so I couldn't tell.
Agree. I'm trying to remember what the kid's name was. That's Simon Boggs. That was Kieran Culkin.
Okay.
So Macaulay Culkin, who's in Home Alone, his younger brother Kieran, who's like making it big right now because he's been in a lot of movies recently that are doing really well. So it is two different kids, but they do look a little bit alike. So I could see that.
Yeah, I didn't even research them because I was like, I actually recognize people. Yay.
Yeah, I could see it's mostly the haircut, I think, too.
Yeah,
really,
that's what it was.
It's that long haircut was popular in the 90s. It was weird.
That's funny.
Okay. So the guy in the stands asks if he's trying to show him up by throwing it back so far, and he gets defensive and says no, and the guy comes at him, and his best friends hold that guy back. And the kids take off, and his friend looks at him and says, "He'd kill ya." And the guy agrees and says, "Thanks." Which I just thought it's like they're now intimidated by this long throw that he's like, "I'd kill ya." Investigation is on to find the person who threw that ball, and Durkin comes back and says they didn't catch him, but he's just a kid. And Fish is interested in this and says, "Find him." Like any evil person in a movie, find him.
Literally, it was like, no, I don't care if he's 12. It's fine.
So Durkin is played by John Gegenhuber, who was in Lego Dimensions, Star Trek Voyager, Earth 2, and SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh. Interesting. That's a really interesting list of movies.
He does some voice work in SpongeBob. In the backyard, Rowengartner is preparing to pitch when his mom and Jack come home. He throws the pitch and his friends dive out of the way, and it sails through the neighbor's house, breaking the window. George says, "Wow, Henry, you could play for the Cubs." And Jack calls Fish then at the Cubs and strikes an agreement. The next day, a man comes to the door looking for Henry Rowengartner. This is part of the long-running joke of this movie is how many names he is called that are not Rowengartner. Henry says that's him, and the guy thinks he must be looking for his dad or something. And Jack says he gets there running late and he greets Sal Martinella, who's the manager of the Chicago Cubs. Jack says Henry is the next Nolan Ryan. Now, Jack is played by Bruce Altman, who's known for his role in the paper regarding Henry, Matchstick Men, Running Scared, but he's also in Quiz Show, which is a great movie, Girl Interrupted, which I think you might have heard of, Bride Wars, Morning Glory, and several episodes of Blue Bloods and 50 Shades Darker and Law and Order. Now, Henry had thrown 103 miles per hour at one point. Now, Fish tells Jack that he's going to be his manager, and managers make 10%. All he has to do is get the contract signed. They ask if he wants to pitch for the Chicago Cubs, and he says he's got to ask his mom first. That's what Henry responds. Just cute. They get there to do a press conference, and it's a zoo getting in. Fish tells Mary that he's got interest from Pepsi and Kellogg and Reebok, who all want a piece of the kid. At the press conference, he can't even see over the top of the podium. Henry has to get a stepping stool, so Jack gets him a stepping stool. They ask if he can pitch, and he says his dad used to play. He was a pitcher, but he doesn't know any more than that. They ask him about his experience, and he says he played Little League for the Pirates. The press accuses him of being just a publicity stunt, and we see the Little League coach take notice, and the doctor he hit with a broken nose take notice on TV. And the journalist tells him to prove it, and Fish steps in and says, if you want to see him pitch, come out to Wrigley. So Henry shows up for his first day, excited with his bat and ball. He wants to go in by himself, and his mom has to back away. None of the other moms are going to be there, as his reasoning, which is kind of funny. True, because they're all like 30s, 20s, and 30s. Henry knocks on the door, and the circle opens, and the old man sticks his head out and says, autographs after the game. And Henry says, wait, I'm Henry Rowengartner. And the man says, oh, why didn't you say so? That's a horse of a different color. Come on in. And I feel like the horse of a different color, come on in, is like in another movie I've seen recently where I was like, where is that from?
Really? I thought that was a really odd saying. Horse of a
different color. Come on in.
Like, what?
And that man is what they call the Wizard of Wrigley, which is played by James Adelin, who is known for his voice on Chicago radio for a very long time, but he was also in the Grumpier Old Men, the sequel, Field of Dreams, and Stir of Echoes. Now, Henry is only allowed in for the locker room, players only, so his friends have to leave. He walks into the busy locker room and he says, hi, I'm Henry Rowengartner. I'm the new pitcher. And then he fanboys around until he gets to Chet Stedman and he asks if he could have his autograph. Asks if he could sign at Rocket. And Chet says he doesn't do autographs. And then Ravenboozer, Martinella calls. Your locker's over here. He introduces him to Brickma. Now, Brickma is a weird guy. He downs a packet of sunflower seeds and is chewing them in his mouth when he starts talking to Henry. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of sweat, but eventually I'm going to mold you into one of the greatest 12-year-olds that ever played this game. And then he starts choking on his sunflower seeds. He chokes out in a high-pitched voice, shut up, I'll see you out there. Henry goes to his locker, but he's intimidated about being 12, and he goes into his locker to change. His hat doesn't fit him, but there he goes anyway. All sorts of people, young and old, head into the game. Now, Brickma is played by our director, Daniel Stern. So let's talk about his acting credits and where else you know him from. So as an actor, he is known for City Slickers, which is on our list, and its sequel, The Wonder Years, which is on our list, Home Alone 1 and 2, Breaking Away. He was also in Frankenweenie, Dilbert, Whip It, and A Christmas Story 2, and Manhattan.
Have you ever seen Frankenweenie?
I don't think I actually saw the whole thing. No.
What? What is... Okay, I have so many questions. Just continue on.
I don't think I can answer those. But mostly people would recognize him from Home Alone. He plays one of the guys that breaks in, Murph, with all the crazy hair.
That's cool. I haven't seen the movie in so long, but I have watched that multiple times.
The stands are packed. It's a sellout. Henry is strutting and shouting to Chet to put it right in his kitchen. Give him the cheese, the hot, stinky Cheddar! Chet pitches a batter, hits it, and he goes past the guys into the outfield. He glares at Henry, and Henry goes to sit down. Fish is calling Stedman a bum. Henry is told he's sitting in the wrong spot. Fish calls down to the dugout and tells Martinella to put the kid in. And Martinella calls out, Rossenberger, warm up, you're going in. They pull out Stedman, and Brickma does this fly swatting maneuver, which is apparently to signal to put Henry in, who is shocked. He takes
That
them out.
was so weird.
Martinella tells him to throw the heat and hands him the ball. There's a huge dude prepping to go up to bat. He steps up to bat. Let's go, kid. Where's your mama sitting? This one's for your mommy. Mommy. He's taunting Henry. Henry looks to his mom and calms down. He goes to throw it, and the guy hits it over everyone, who just looks shocked. Hedo taunts him as he runs the bases. Now, Hedo is played by Tom Milanovic, who we saw in Groundhog Day as the state trooper. But he was also in a movie called Above the Law.
Cool.
So we have seen him before. Mary says, oh, he must feel horrible. But Bob comforts her with, it's all right. In Chicago, we get used to this sort of thing. Now, Uncle Bob Carson, is played by Eddie Bracken, who is known for Hail the Conquering Hero, National Lampoon's Vacation, The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. He was also in the 1939's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Too Many Girls, The Wind in the Willows, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. So he's also in Home Alone 2 with the director. He plays, if you've seen Home Alone 2, he plays the owner of the shop that gives him the 2 turtle doves.
I think I remember that. That one I watched like a long time ago. I watch Home Alone more often. So that one I wouldn't remember as much.
I like Home Alone too. Baby's Day Out and The Brave Little Toaster to the Rescue. He's in those as well.
Now, another Little Toaster to the Rescue? What are these movie names?
You've never seen The Brave Little Toaster? We got to add that to the list. Okay. Brave Little Toaster is a good 90's movie. Okay. Another batter steps up to the plate. He gets hit by the pitch in the leg, and he gets to take his base. He's panicking. He says to the catcher he's got to be taken out, but he can't do this. And the catcher says that's not his call. Just throw it. He throws another one, but it goes high and doesn't get caught. The runner on first runs, and luckily his teammates pick up the ball and take him out before he makes it to third. That's their last out. So didn't do too bad. The announcer says they still beat New York Mets 5-4. Downstairs, Martinella is telling Stedman he needs to teach the kid to pitch. Stedman says, but Brickman is the pitching coach. And Brickma is teaching Henry the 3 R's: readiness, recuperation, and conditioning. Definitely an R word. You see, after the game, this is Hannah's favorite part, a lot of guys like to ice up their arm. Still, other fellows think that heat is the best way to go, but I've discovered the secret, Henry. Hot ice. That's right, hot ice. I heat up the ice cubes. It's the best of both worlds.
What does that mean?
If you get an injury, I'm going to just tell you to do that. So
no.
Hot ice, Hannah. Hot ice. Back at school, Becky invites Henry and the guys to sit with them. It's awkward. George decides to talk to Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. He says, hi, Roger. She says, how's it going? And she's like, not bad. And Clark says to George, she called you Roger. And he says, so? And this is where I would have swore that he would have followed it up with, that's not your name. Because I feel like that's in like several movies.
Yeah.
I've seen that, but
I can see that, yeah.
It's funny. Tiffany is played by Christy David. Oh, it was in She's All That, wasn't it? Where like the Freddie Prinze Jr. said hi to some girl and used the wrong name.
I think so.
Was like, the other girl standing next to her was like, that's not your name.
Yeah.
Okay.
While like walking through school,
See?
yeah.
That's where that should have been in here.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Because he was like, so who cares? And she's like, that's not your name. Well, Tiffany is played by Christy Davis, and this is the only movie that she did. She was really cute, and this was all she did. Henry was still awkward, but Becky asks what is the thing that Clark's carrying around, and he tells her it's for their boat. She's impressed and mentions her parents have a boat, but they never let her do anything with it. Clark is trying to get Henry to ask her to go for a ride, but he freezes and the bell rings. He says when the boat is done, he'll ask her. At the boat, they get the motor that Clark stole from his dad. Then they have to run it because he's late for practice, so they have to leave. So he shows up at practice, and Brickma is showing the guys how to bat and keeps hitting the ball up, and it hits the top of the batting area and hits him back on the head, which is why you wear a batting helmet.
Mm-hmm.
But he keeps doing at it, and he keeps saying things like, let the big dog eat, which just cracks me up every time. Martinella tells Henry he's working with Stedman today and that he's also fined $500 for showing up late to practice. And Henry says, $500? That's like 6 years allowance.
Yeah.
I feel that. I would also be freaked out.
Yeah.
The next game, the crowd calls for Henry. Garden hoser, Martin yells. And we see that Henry has his hat on backwards and upside down, eating sunflower seeds. They're sending Henry in. Clark says, and George says they're going to go down so they can see better. Mary asks Bob if he wants to go down there with them. And Bob is like, me, the owner of the Cubs, sitting down with the fans? They'd kill me. And Mary agrees and they leave. Now Martinella hands Henry the ball. But back in Fish's office, the rep for Pepsi says to Fish and Jack that if they can show Pepsi Henry is a winner, they'll sign him. Just then Henry throws the pitch and hits the batter in the back. Martinella tells Chet to talk to Henry, so Chet goes out to the pitcher's mound. Now, this is really great advice, so make note. What are you doing out here? And Henry says, what am I supposed to do? And Chet says, deal from your have to. And he says, my what? The have to. Are you speaking English? The have to is what you use when you're afraid. Everybody is half win and half lose. The lose half is afraid. The winning half is fearless. They have to is inside. It's where the fear lives. Henry says, oh, okay. Could you start over again? And Chet asks for one more minute. The have to, let's see it. And he walks away and says to himself, the have to. What the heck was I talking about? And Henry says, what the heck was he talking about? So that makes zero sense.
Yeah.
He goes to throw out the next pitch, and the batter hits it. Henry covers his face with the glove. His team catches the ball, throws it to first, gets the batter out, and then throws it home, and then gets the runner out. And Bob says, what a sweet little double play that was. Now, Okie goes to throw the ball back to Henry, and he has to get his attention. And he says, way to pitch. And Henry is confused, and Okie just gives him a smile. Now, Okie is played by Neil Flynn, who's known for his role as Katie's dad in Mean Girls. He's the janitor in Scrubs. His role in Magnolia and The Fugitive, he's also known for. He was in Baby's Day Out as well. To Serve with Love 2. He was in a few episodes of Early Edition. Love that show. He was in Home Alone 3, Buzz Lightyear to Star Command, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I think most people would recognize him from his recent role in The Middle, as the dad in The Middle. He's also right now in many episodes of my newest favorite, Shrinking. Now they have 2 outs. He's 1 away from back-to-back saves. Brickma is yelling to Henry to cut some cheese, some big stinky cheese. Not exactly the right phrase about cutting the cheese. Henry throws a strike and another. 3 strikes, you're out, and everyone is going wild. Martinella says, way to go, run a mucker.
The different names, like what?
Garden hoser. Okay, sorry, that still gets me. Henry goes to change and finds a baseball in his locker signed by Rocket, and he smiles at Stedman. After the game, Henry walks down on the field. Clark and George shout, hey, Rowengartner, you suck. Then they run down to the field, and the 3 boys pretend to play baseball. As the players leave, they wonder if they should join in on the fun. Stedman watches as Mary introduces herself to him. I think she's smitten. She says, thanks for whatever you said to him out there. He says he's a good kid. He must have a heck of a mom. She is definitely smitten by that point. Later, Henry is at the airport leaving for an away game with the team. His mom is leaving him with Brickma, scary, and tells him to do whatever Brickma says. Oh, and the sunscreen. She tosses the sunscreen to him, and Brickma says, hey, your mom has a pretty good arm. I haven't seen the floater pitch since Scruffy McGee. On the plane, Brickma is teaching more lessons. On the field, we conserve our energy. On the road, we conserve our food. And then he proceeds to show him by putting his leftover cake in a vomit bag to take back to the hotel for breakfast in the morning. Conservation, managing resources, that is the key to baseball, he says. Now Chet invites him over and shares some Salisbury steak and asks him not to call him Rocket anymore. Henry says, yeah, I don't get it. You're throwing so slow. Chet says, "Oh, thank you very much." And then Chet continues that he doesn't know what his shoulder would do if he heats it up again. At the hotel, Henry gets his own room. He's excited about that. But Brickma is right next door with an adjoining door, but it closes behind him and locks. So he knocks on it, and the bellman says, "Sorry, your door seems to be malfunctioning. I'll get housekeeping right up here." And it's a really odd interaction. And Brickma's like, "Nice guy."
It
Now
was so
the
weird.
It was weird. Now, the bellman is played by Ian Gomez. And while this is a really small role, he's known for his roles in My Big Fat Greek Wedding 1 and 2, The Drew Carey Show, Felicity, and Cougar Town. He was also in Ed TV, The Norm Show, Jake in Progress, Larry Crown with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Brickma, Tom Hanks is everywhere, man. Brickma lectures about being on time and then goes into his room and shuts the door. Henry breaks open his gift basket and calls his friends on the phone and asks about Becky. Brickma realizes the time and goes to knock on Henry's adjoining door, but Henry had already taken off for the game, and Brickma, stepping into the between doors, gets stuck in there. Which was like something I will tell you as kids growing up in the 90's, we tried to do. Like if we had adjoining rooms anywhere, we would like try to like get stuck.
Really?
It locked, yeah. And then they like started getting rid of that and they would just have one door. So it would like you couldn't do that anymore.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Um it was great though. Well, the announcer Cliff Murdoch says that the Cubs are 3 games behind the New York Mets with 15 games left to play. We'll see Henry strike the batter out, and then they head to the dugout. Chet asks Billy how his hand is, and Billy says it stings. And Chet says to Henry, "Did you hear that? You made his hand sting." It's kind of cool that he's like buying into the whole thing. Now, Martinella asks Henry if he's good for another inning, and he says, "You betcha. You betcha, baby." So Martinello says he's waiting on deck to bat. He's got to learn sometime. Now Chet says, "Stay low and don't get killed." He heads out there. He tells the Dodgers pitcher to put it in his wheelhouse. "Give me something I can hit." But he's not even in the batter's box. So he steps up to the plate, and we hear his mom watching on the TV. "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And Chet is saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And Henry is saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And Henry dives down. Ball. He does it again. Dives down. He has no strike zone, the pitcher is yelling. Henry gets 4 balls and they walk him. Then this is where the shenanigans start. So Henry is on first base and he's like, "Pitcher, pitcher, pitcher. You got something hanging out of your nose." And he taunts as the pitcher throws to the first and he slides to the base and is saved. But the first baseman throws it back and Henry taunts him too, but stays safe. Then the ball throws back to the pitcher and Henry taunts him again. "Pitcher's got a big butt." Pitcher checks out his butt and then throws the ball to first, and the first baseman fumbles it, giving Henry the chance to steal second, sliding in, and he's safe. So now at second base, he's doing the same thing. "We want a pitcher, not an underwear snitcher."
The picture looking at his butt too was so funny to me. I was like, this 12-year-old is saying this to you and you're gonna get all insecure.
Yeah, all these guys do. So the pitcher purposely throws the ball, hitting Suarez in the back, and tells the kid, "That one's for you." And that shuts Henry up for about a second, and then he keeps going. Because that's a classic 12-year-old right there. Now the pitch is thrown, and Suarez hits it, taking off, and Henry doesn't move until Suarez is on his tail, telling him to run faster. And Henry says, "This is as fast as I can go." And they both head into home base safe, slide in safe. Back in Chicago, the team runs back through the airport. We see Brickma then being rescued from the doors by a maid. Henry makes it to the cover of Sports Illustrated. Jack signs the PepsiCo contract, and they show Henry striking out Bobby Bonilla with the New York Mets, Pedro Guerrero with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Barry Bonds with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Those are real baseball players.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. I have some Bonilla. I don't think I have a Guerrero card, but I do have Bonilla cards, and I have a lot of Barry Bonds baseball cards.
Oh my God, wait, that's really cool. My brothers have a bunch of baseball cards. That's really cool.
Yes. The Cubs get back home to an airport full of press. Chet asks he was asked how it is to be outpitched by a 12-year-old, and he says he doesn't care as long as he gets that ring. So that's like really great of his character to be more accepting of that. He
Yeah.
gets
His
pulled.
character was very well written, I feel. Like he was very
It
sweet and
was.
nice, and
Yeah.
he actually cared about Henry.
Had a nice arc to it, I think.
Yeah. Enemies to friends, kind of.
Yeah. So he gets pulled through the press by Chet to get to Mary, and they run to a waiting limo. They give Chet a ride home. Henry pours them each a club soda, and Henry turns on romantic music. Later, Bob Carson throws a party for the team. Mary and Chet dance, and he steps on her foot. They slow dance, and Jack watches from the bar, all pissed off. Brickma takes Henry over to play pinball, which I thought was kind of cool. Fish tells Jack that the Yankees want to buy the kid for 25 million. Fish tells him that they need to get Mary to sign the contract. It'll be a good time to relocate. Plus, he gets 10%, 2.5 million. Jack
So
says he'll do it if they get rid of Chet Stedman. Now, George and Clark are working on the boat, and George is mad that Henry isn't there. Henry is shooting a commercial for Pepsi and is running late. Now, Jack gets Mary to sign Henry's contract while the commercial is being shot, saying that it's something else, but it's actually a sale to the New York Yankees. We see Henry running later through the woods only to be confronted by George, who is pissed that he was late. He didn't make it there on time. They fight, and Henry doesn't want to do the things that he wants to do, and George is just like pissed. Um, Later, Henry is playing his Game Boy in the locker room, and Chet says that thing is going to make you stupid, which is a common thing that adults used to tell us when we played Game Boy. It did not. It did not affect our intelligence whatsoever. They call Chet into talk to Fish. Fish is saying that the franchise is tired for waiting for your arm to come around, so you're gonna have to sit out the rest of the season on the bench, and we're releasing you. Chet tells Henry later to get dressed. He's taking him home in the car. He tells Henry not to take the game too seriously because one day it's gonna be over. Your gift will be gone. Don't forget that. And then he drives him home. At the house, Jack scolds Henry about that there was a limo waiting to take him to the photo shoot, and where were you? And Henry says Chet gave him a ride home, and Jack flips out. I'm so sick of hearing about Chet Stedman, he says. Henry tells him to take it easy, and Jack tells him to get dressed. He has a photo to shoot. Henry says he's not going, and he wants to go play with his friends instead. And Jack tries to stop him, and Henry tells him to get out of his face. And Jack says, don't you walk away from me when I'm talking to you. And he grabs him by the arm and yells to show me some respect. Henry says, you're not my father. And Jack says, that's right, I'm not your father. And Chet Stedman is not your father. In fact, your mother probably doesn't even know who your father is. Your father's some guy who left town. And Mary comes tearing down the stairs. That is enough. And she kicks Jack out and says, we don't want to ever see you near us again. And Jack says, well, you're going to see a lot of me because we're moving to New York together. And Henry's been sold to the Yankees. They tell him that they can't do that. And he says, of course I can. I'm the manager. She says, this is my son. And he says, he is my client. She kicks him out, punches him in the face, like right in the nose, and he falls out the door and down the stairs. I was very excited about that part.
Yeah, me too. I like your impression of him too. Is my client. He was so angry. I was like,
yes,
he's 12. This is a 12-year-old child. Come on.
Now they are both excited about how awesome that was. Like of kicking him out. And yeah, I mean he's 12, but also like to Jack, he's worth $2.5 million.
Yeah.
And $2.5 million in the 90's. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Mary tries to tell him about his father, and he says he already knows that his dad left when she was pregnant, and his grandmother told him when he was in second grade. So none of this is news. He says he didn't tell her because she liked telling him stories, and she says she just wanted someone he could look up to, and he said he already had that, which is so sweet. She kisses him, and Henry heads to the lake to see his friends. They push the boat into the water. They look back and say, so are you coming? And they all go to take the boat out. It's definitely like steaming or smoking, but it works. So
It's a little janky, but it's okay.
yeah. Well, kids assembled it, with stolen parts, it sounds like. So they drive over to the beach and invite Becky, Tiffany, and Edith to join them. Now, Edith is played by Tyler Ann Carroll, who before this movie was in a movie called One More Saturday Night, and then that was it. Henry comes home and talks to his mom. The next day, they go to talk to Bob before the game. He tells him he's not going to be back next season. Bob is shocked, but he says the best thing he's the best thing to happen to baseball since Cracker Jacks. And Henry says he loves the Cubs and baseball, but there's other things that he wants to do first. Bob says he understands. And Henry says there's just one more thing he doesn't understand. Why did he want to sell him to the Yankees? Bob doesn't know about what he's talking about. And Fish says it was just a spec, nothing final. Bob tells Henry to get down there. He says he'll be down at the field level later to watch him win the division. And as soon as he takes care of a little business. I like that he like got the information and then like this is what I noticed as an adult that he got the information, didn't bother the kid with it, with the drama, told him to just go take care of what he needs to take care of, and he'll take care of it.
Yeah,
That's a good manager right there.
I agree. I agree.
I'm not good at that. Uh, so Martinella tells Chet he's starting and he is so excited. Chet's like shaking like a rookie. Henry says, "Don't worry about it. It's just the biggest game of your life." Having like a 12-year-old to like
Yeah.
try that in there. And he pulls him out onto the field. Brickma realizes everyone left, but he forgot his lucky seeds, so he goes into the cage to get them, and it locks behind him, and he is stuck in there. The announcer says, "This is for all the marbles," among lots of other things that it was all for. If they win the championship division, they move on to the World Series. Now Chet's on the hill, and they're going to back him up and play hard. Chet throws a strike, and another, and a third. Henry says, "All right, rock it." Now the next inning, the Chicago Cubs the next inning, the Chicago Cubs get 2 runs. Bob orders 4 hot dogs for the group and is shocked to find out it's $3 each for a hot dog. He's like, $3 for it. He owns the Chicago Cubs. And he's like, $3 for a hot dog? Chet is
And
back.
$3 compared to now?
I know. Well, I don't know what it is now. I thought it was still three. It's not still $3.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
buy, no, I don't even know. I don't buy hot dogs. Um, Somebody who buys hot dogs at the ballpark, let me know.
Right.
Next inning, Chet is back on the mound. He throws the ball, and the batter gets hit, and his shoulder is like hurt. We see Fish in the stands later selling the hot dogs. Chet throws balls, so not just the ball, but he throws balls, so not strikes. Martinello wants to take him out, and Chet wants one more. Just one more. And everyone is cheering for him. He throws and cracks his shoulder. The guy gets the hit and the bat breaks. He gets the ball and can't throw it. So he has to run home to try to get the batter before he gets home. And he's out. And Chet says he's done. His arm's gone. And Martinello says, "No, you gotta help me finish the season." And he's like, "No, it's gone. My arm's done." And he's like, "Well, you'll let me finish the season before you take my job, won't you?" Which is just sweet. Henry comes over and Martinello says, "Rowengartner, you're going in." And Henry's like, what did he call me? That was my name. Like, what? On the mound, Henry strikes out several batters and they get through several innings. Brickma is still stuck in the cage. Last inning, Henry is going to be back up on the mound. Martinello asks him to get through the inning and he won't ask for anything else. And Henry says, "Okay, but this is the last time." Now Henry runs out into the mound but steps on a baseball and flies up into the air and lands just like before. He's okay, but his arm isn't. The ball doesn't make it to home plate. Uh-oh, he's panicked, and his mom sees it too. Henry throws the ball and isn't ready. Ball 2, ball 3. Everyone's yelling at him to throw it hard, and Martinello yells, "Rowengartner, come on!" He throws ball 4. He has everyone running in, calling a timeout. He tells them all he can't throw hard anymore. "I can't throw hard anymore, guys. I can't throw hard anymore." But he has a plan. They work together and go back to their spots. Now Henry strikes out a player on the first base that has a chalk bag, which means the ball was already at first and it was a hidden ball trick and the guy's out. And Okie is like super excited. Billy calls for a walk. He throws 4 balls and they walk the batter. The batter says he's not falling for it with the hidden ball trick, and Henry drops the ball and dares him to run. He double dares him, and then he calls him a chicken, and Okie balks at him too. So Henry keeps telling him he's a chicken, and he says, "I dare you to throw the ball up really high." And he gets a runner to take off running, and Henry doesn't throw the ball, and he runs and takes him out. Then Hedo steps up to bat. He says, "I'm your worst nightmare." He threw a changeup and got a strike. And then Hedo smashed the next ball, but it goes foul. Everyone's excited. Hedo says, "You're mine." And his mom stares at him and realizes that the tape is coming off inside of Henry's mitt. And Henry realizes the mitt says Mary. So his mom was a softball pitcher. So all the stories about being a pitcher come from his mama, not
I
his.
thought that was so cute, and the little like foreshadowing to that was really cool too.
And as an adult or as a kid, we thought that like, oh, she played professional ball. But like that's not necessarily what it says in the movie. As an adult, like I watched it and I was like, oh, she wasn't famous. She was just regular.
Yeah, she's just a picture.
But he looks to her and she acknowledges and she tells him to float it. Everything is riding on this pitch. He throws it underhanded and it's a strike. Hedo is out and the Cubs win the division. Now, Hedo throws a temper tantrum like a giant baby, which as a kid you think is hilarious. As an adult, you think it's weird. And Henry throws a ball to his mom. Now we see Henry catch the ball next, still playing baseball in jeans instead of baseball pants. Like in Little League, and he wins the Little League game, which makes his new coach, Chet, happy. And Henry puts his World Series ring into the air, and that's the game. I mean, the end of the movie. So, what I miss, and what's Hannah's rating?
Okay, so I have my notes up. Most of them are just, I have less notes on this one because most of them were me being like, I recognize this person. I recognize this person. Who's this
And I
person
hate this
from?
movie. You were like, I hate this movie.
I didn't write I hate it. I said I dislike this movie more than any other movie we've watched. And I hate to say it, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It's getting a 5 out of 10.
Hauser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling you that. Garden
I'm
Hauser.
like I'm sorry to any Rookie of the Year fans. I don't know. I think the biggest thing I didn't like is how his arm got so powerful. And as we
Because
know, I
you
don't
break
like
it, and
humans.
that's what happens, Hannah. You come back stronger with superpowers.
As someone who's fractured their arm, I wish. Why couldn't I have been like Henry? But actually, that wouldn't have benefited me, as I said earlier.
Like
But
this is in my head for the rest of my life now, though. Like when something is broken, you come back stronger
yeah.
with superhuman strength. And so like my boyfriend hurt his foot last year and like broke bones in it, and I was like, you're gonna be so much cooler once it finally heals.
Yeah, no. I disagree, but that would be very cool. And I wish maybe you could have like a powerful cast, like a radioactive cast or something. The noise. Ugh. And the fact that on his last pitch, or I guess I should say not his last pitch, but towards the last inning, the fact that that's when his arm went back to normal, like I don't know, I just thought it was kind of stupid. And I liked Becky. As we know, I like romance. So any romantic aspect in this movie I loved. I just don't think I liked the actual baseball aspect, which is weird because I like Sandlot. I just didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know.
Not feeling super confident about our next movie.
Oh no! What is it? What is it?
Well, okay. You need to like start using the little Hannah like thoughts of when you're watching these movies, just
Okay.
in case. Well, before I get to our next movie of the week, I do want to add a TV show pilot. So this will save if you don't like the movie. I hope you do. It's funny. It's hokey to watch back as an adult. I'm gonna say that because I did watch it I haven't seen it since like college. I watched it in college and I was like, why did I ever think this movie was good? But as a kid, I was like, this is the best movie ever.
Oh my
And
god.
like
Okay.
every kid loved this movie. We all had it. So anyway, but before we get to the movie of the week, we are adding a TV show pilot for this next week. So hopefully that's okay. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, on Netflix, we're going to be watching the pilot for The West Wing.
Oh, okay. You've talked about this one.
So The West Wing is an acclaimed, yeah, we've kind of talked about it, but it's acclaimed American political drama created by Aaron Sorkin that chronicles the lives, triumphs, and trials of the senior staff and advisors serving under the fictional Democratic President Josiah Jed Bartlet. who is played by Martin Sheen. The series blends personal drama with complex Washington politics. Now, if you've been watching Grace and Frankie, like I know that you have, this is Grace's ex-husband, Robert, who's now married to Saul in Grace and Frankie, and he is the president of the United States. So if you can't fully, I just feel like you really can't fully appreciate Martin Sheen in that role until in general, until you see him as the president.
Okay. Okay, I'm excited. Wait, this sounds good. I like political types of things. Okay. I think I'll like that.
All right. Well, that's
This
good. I
might
hope
be
so.
one I like continue watching.
So the series blends like personal drama with some Washington complex politics.
Okay.
Um, so that's good. But let's see. I'll also mention that my favorite Dule Hill is in the show, although I'm not sure he's in the pilot episode. I don't think he is. But you'll be introduced to Bradley Whitford, Allison Janney, Janelle Maloney, John Spencer, Richard Schiff. You'll recognize a very young Rob Lowe, who you should know from Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but mostly you'll learn about the walk and talk. So there's like this whole idea of like having a conversation on the go that came from this show. So it
Oh,
happens in other shows. It gets mentioned in other shows, the walk and talk. The walk and talk is a thing that started on the West Wing. You will see it. Um, I'm gonna remind you that it is a 90s show. So it
okay.
screams 90s when you turn on it screams old when you turn on the first episode.
Okay.
But it is very good, and it's a good escapism from today's political debauchery that we're all hoping will be over soon. You'll like this president. So
Okay.
you
I
might
like
not think you like him in the middle of or the beginning of the middle of the episode, but you will like him by the end.
it. Okay. Okay. Is he sassy?
Um, I mean, yeah, it's Martin Sheen,
Okay, I
but
was gonna say yeah.
like not he's intelligent in the way it's just a very smart show. It's a very
Okay.
smart show. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited. That
So
sounds
do you
good.
have any questions about the West Wing before we move into our movie of the week?
No, I think I want to be surprised because
Okay.
I love stuff like this, as you know. So I think this will be something up my alley. Get to see Martin Sheen.
Okay.
Cool.
I think it will too. I mean, yeah, I watched the first episode and then I had to tell myself, like I did watch the first episode before I decided this because I was like, when should we watch this? And like, is the first episode good to watch or should I? Because we've talked about the map thing. There's an episode in The West Wing that covers like the fact that the maps that we were taught in school are not accurate.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole episode. That's how I learned about that was on the West Wing episode. And so I was trying to figure out like, should we watch that episode or should we just start with the first episode? And I was like, well, I think you'll get a better introduction from the first episode. So,
Okay.
um,
That's cool.
but it is a good show, but I did have to tell myself like you cannot rewatch this entire series right now. Like I was like I got like 4 episodes in and I was like, no, we're not. It's 7 seasons. I was like, you can't. Like I
Yeah.
can't. I've got other things that I need to watch and if I will put it back into rotation another time. It's such a good show though.
Okay.
Okay, well now for our movie of the week, we are watching the 90s kids classic, The Three Ninjas. So if you grew up in the 90s and you did not see the Three Ninjas, you must have been living without movies, maybe in an Earthship in the desert. I've been watching a lot of the Caleb Simpson Earthship tours recently, so that's why I'm like thinking about you must be in an Earthship in the desert. That's how I feel like you missed Three Ninjas. It's because you were living in an Earthship. Do you know what those are? Like the little recycled. Oh,
No,
they're
oh wait, I think I know what those are. I've never seen the videos though of them like exploring them. Is there like
Caleb. Do you follow Caleb Simpson on Instagram?
no,
He's
probably
like the guy that comes up to people and he's like, how much do you pay for your home? Can I get a tour? And he like
not. I've
tours
seen
people's homes in like New York City and Los Angeles and stuff. Well, anyway, he was apparently out in the desert touring Earth ships. So I've seen 2 Earth ships. I don't know if he did more than that, but yeah, I was like there was this last week or whatever. I hope
okay.
they could be old. Sometimes I get old videos pushed to my feed, but I think they're recent videos from Caleb, so
Okay, I have seen those like rent house tour apartment tour videos.
Yeah,
I have seen
with the
those.
guy with Caleb's.
Yeah,
Okay,
I never really okay, yeah, so that's
look
him.
at Caleb Simpson. Check
Okay.
out the Earth ships. The Earth ships are really cool, and I've seen them on TV in the past. But yeah, to see them in videos recently. But I'm just thinking like that's the only way you would have not seen this movie is like if you grew up in an Earth ship because they didn't have TV in those Earth ships before, and now they do. But that wasn't like that was kind of frowned upon to have TV in the Earth ship, I think. I don't know. That's just what it seemed like. Because they had like the inventor of the Earth ship did like a tour on like a documentary or something a long time ago, and it didn't seem like a place for technology. So,
That makes sense. Okay, our ships are
um,
pretty cool. I didn't know there were tours though. That's
yeah. No,
huh,
that has
let's look
nothing to do
into
with the
this.
Three Ninjas, other than that's probably how you avoided the movie. The movie was on, like, you went to a birthday party, we watched Three Ninjas. Like, everybody had Three Ninjas. Three Ninjas was like the movie. So,
Yeah.
as a kid, again, imagine 12-year-old Hannah or 9-year-old Hannah. I don't
Okay.
even remember when this came out, but imagine like young Hannah watching this movie and like laugh at the funny,
Okay.
stupid stuff because there's going to be stupid, funny stuff. Um,
Three
anyway,
ninjas. Okay. I'm a little nervous, but I'm
I'm
kind of
nervous now
excited.
too. You ruined Rookie of the Year, so I'm like,
Jeff's
devastated.
gonna hate me.
We've got so many more movies, though, that are going to go in the complete opposite direction. They're going to be like more adult movies, so those are coming up. All right, so what do you think that this movie is about?
Okay, so my prediction is that it's children who go undercover as ninjas and save the city. Is that accurate?
No, but well, how do you go undercover as a ninja?
You just like
Like,
become a
are they
ninja.
ninjas or like are they just pretending to be ninjas?
I think they're pretending to be ninjas. I don't
Okay.
think they're actual ninjas. Unless they are. Are they children ninjas?
I mean, you're just gonna have to watch it now.
No!
Young siblings Rocky, Michael Trainer, Colt, Max Elliott Slade, and Tum Tum Douglas, Chad Power, arrive for their summer stay with their ninjutsu master, Grandpa, Victor Wong, who's passed down the vast knowledge of martial arts to the boys. But they're accosted by the criminal, Snyder, Rand Kingsley, a rogue ex-student of Grandpa's who kidnaps the boys as part of a scheme to get their FBI agent dad, Sam, played by Alan McRae. But Snyder doesn't know just how skilled his abductees are.
Oh wait, this sounds kind of good. Okay, okay. I mean I don't like when children get kidnapped obviously, but that sounds like something I would be like interested in. It sounds a little interesting.
It's funny
Okay.
and good. It kind of leans like I feel like it's got some like humor of Rookie of the Year, and then it like leans like Karate Kid a little bit without the serious like as much seriousness. It's supposed to be very like Home Alone, Karate Kid,
Okay.
Man of the House,
Okay.
Rookie
That
of the
kind of vibe.
Year. Yeah, like it's
Okay.
all that vibe.
Okay. I did really like Man of the House. So I
Okay.
should like this. Hopefully. We'll
Oh.
see. We'll see.
Well, you can catch this movie on Amazon Prime Rental or wherever you rent your movies since the days of Blockbuster. Unfortunately, this movie has not touched a streaming service in its entire, like, ever. I've
Hmm.
never seen it on a streaming service ever. And I don't know if there's any reason why it's not. I don't know if it didn't age well. Like, I'm not really sure. It's been such a long time since I've seen the movie, so I have no idea. But sometimes that's the reason that things don't make a streaming service is because it like didn't age well. But we'll see. It's on Amazon Prime rental, so or YouTube
Okay.
rental or wherever. Well, that's it for this episode of Millennial Meets Gen Z 90's edition. Thanks for hanging out with us and rewinding the 90's one movie show and chaotic conversation at a time. If this episode brought back a memory, if you had introduced you to something new, made you want to revisit this classic movie, reminded you to get a better ceiling fan, or you want to help me build mine, make sure you follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and don't miss the next episode. Reach out to us. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now Patreon for clips, behind the scenes moments, and all the extra conversations that didn't make the episode. So we are on Patreon if you want to go check us out there. And until then, next time, be kind and rewind.
Thanks for listening or watching, everybody.